Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly shop steward today, because today we are carrying on with our ongoing campaign playing Paizo Publishing's outstanding fantasy RPG, Pathfinder, 2nd edition. And we are playing this adventure as part of our ongoing campaign playing in the Spires of Paridar. Spires of Paridar is our campaign set in a Coalpunk city of occult conspiracy, Dickensian class disparity, and industrial progress. And with me today are the stars of the Spires of Paridar campaign. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are, who you're playing, and what cool new thing did you get at 4th level. First up is the son of Dak himself, Sean.
Hey, I'm playing Golag, son of Dak. I'm an orc witch detective. And let's see. It's an excellent question of what I got schooled in secrets.
Ooh.
Is a skill feat. I think I just took that. Yes, I did. And it's I noticed some signs and symbols of members of mystery cults and other secret societies used to declare their affiliation to fellow members. So can pick up those.
Very cool.
Pick up those signals.
I imagine that would have some value in the streets of Paridar. Did you get new spells as well too?
I probably did. Let's see as I try to bring. Oh, let's see.
So I think you got like 1 or 2 new spells automatically at your new level.
Yes, I got bringing it into. So I got yes, it is so you get I got a focus spell. Well, if you take God, what's it called? Witch feet or whatever. There's a combo. You get these things that are combos, and one's a focus spell and one is a spell. Mm-hmm. And I get the focus spell, and my familiar gets the spell for that distinction. Mm-hmm. The focus spell is particularly interesting, where I pick any target, I believe, including myself, and the target gains fast healing equal to double the spell's level every round.
Very nice.
So, and that lasts for 4 rounds, and that's pretty serious. I mean, it's spread out over 4 rounds. So if something's truly dire, it's probably not going to save you. But it's going to give you 16 points of health over 4 rounds. So that's, it's not
nothing.
Not bad.
Yep.
That's not nothing, and that's within 30 feet. So, you can throw that up there up front, or whatever, and it's pretty serious. The other one is in the same theme, naturally, because these are paired. You get them as pairs. I'm not sure how eager Golag's going to be about this one, but you form a link with another creature, allowing Golag to take its pain. I don't know how sacrificial Golag's going to be feeling, but the other creature gets 2 points, and I take 2 points of damage.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You picture his shadow whispering it to him, and Golag's like, "No, we won't be doing that."
Yeah, exactly. Brushing that right off. Come on now. Come on.
Next up is Ingolf.
Yeah, hi, I'm Ingolf. I'm playing Basil Rathbone, who is an Isoki investigator. And yeah, he learned some new tricks. Basically, the first thing is he's more ready now to expect the unexpected, meaning that I get a +1 bonus to all saving throws connected to subjects of my investigation.
Oh, that's cool.
Never again will a Kelpie catch me off guard in that way.
Those Kelpies.
Very nice. Next up is James.
Hi, so I'm Sally Dumer as our Katie monk, and she's picked up Deflect Arrow, which I think deflects bullets as well, because it says you cannot use it against massive ranged projectiles.
Nope, you can definitely use it against bullets too.
And the other one, and I've got this from the expert guide, and I'll read it. Lead climber. When climbing, you can prepare routes for others to follow, and you can pull Golag up to avoid disaster.
Oh, see, that's so unnecessary. Right there.
And last but certainly not least is Darren.
Yeah, Darren, I'm playing Adam Ersprung, who's an inventor. He has continued his medical training. He's got continual recovery, so he can now do healing every 10 minutes instead of every hour when out of combat. And he's also been tinkering away, as he hasn't got his clinic at the moment, giving Igor some upgrades. So he's now an advanced construct.
Very nice. Okay, so last session we wrapped up one investigation, and we are about to kick off our next. So first, before we move on to the mystery at hand, what happened last time, guys? Ingolf was on vacation last time, nursing. He's getting his levels in Ranger, nursing a bunch of kittens. So what happened last time, guys?
Well, we spent quite a long amount of time fighting with a Kelpie.
We did.
Very challenging fight with a Kelpie, in and out of the water constantly. The doctor managed to electrocute it in the end, which brought it to its final demise, and its body sort of turned into a bit of a slush, and not much of the remains were left. I think we did confirm a skull in its remains from its innards of the missing unfortunate father. So we did return what was left of the remains, or we at least went and told the widow the sad news. Arranged a interview with Annabelle Carrington, so that she basically paid the fees. So the widow didn't have that issue, because Goleg wanted his money, obviously. I mean, that took up a large amount of our time. We also, one thing we did find was Sally found another spire in the bottom of the pond, which was an interesting find. So there's a new spire at the bottom of the pond.
And that seemed to be where the Kelpie was coming from.
Yeah.
So maybe a bit of a portal to somewhere not nice.
Yeah. We haven't actually communicated that to the college yet, have we? Or the professor?
Where we left off was with you guys meeting with her kind of like the following day, and then you guys were going to be heading home and collapsing. And I had said at the end of last session, or before the sort of teaser for this session, that we were going to skip ahead. And I don't think we can just yet, because there's some events that we sort of need to deal with immediately, and then we'll have a jump forward. Is there anything else that you recall from last session?
Well, where we left it was at the church. Father Tilgot was seen at the church, and a sort of wild man, I think he was described as, burning down the church.
Yeah, or at least
to the bottom of that, yeah,
some creature in service to the wild man, or at least allied with him. So, our scene opens, I believe, with our following breakfast, as is often the case. You all have had a very long couple of days, so if you would be forgiven if any of you elected to sleep in, but it does seem like all of you have tasks before you that need immediate addressing. Not the least of which is this mysterious spire at the bottom of the pond. There is still a ghost ship that has yet to have any explanation. Sally has been detecting some strange goings-on in the harbor. And Dr. Ersprung has a pending charity event that will be coming after his promotional interview with Ms. Carrington. Oh, and of course, Basil has his strange new friend he has yet to hear from. So, if we take the past to be the predictor of today, Golag, I believe you're still first one up. And I think that to reflect your, if we were to have a view of the moments before you wake, what we might see is this strange, it's almost like the shadows in your room are not behaving the laws of physics, as it were, because it almost looks like there is a shadow being cast on your bed, on the headboard, of a shadow reaching or kind of twisted over and whispering into your ear as you sleep. But then with the you can hear Sovin unlock the door. The shadow disappears. He comes in. Things are open, and your day is being started. I think we'll pick up with you arriving at the breakfast table. As is always the case, you have your copies of the daily newspapers waiting for you there, and you. There is something that causes you to actually put your cup down rather than taking your first sip of tea or coffee or whatever you choose to drink first thing in the morning. And that is because the front page headline of the Paridar Times, Blaze at the Church. There is apparently overnight there was some kind of mishap at Brother Tilcott's, or Father Tilcott? Can't remember. Father Tilcott's church, the church that services Dr. Ursprung's neighborhood. It is burned to the ground, and there are 2 fatalities involved, one of which appears to be Father Tilcott himself.
Well, mishap indeed, he mutters to himself and says, he wraps his fingers on the paper and says, everyone should, who's with me at this point?
You're the first one up, and I think, who do we think is the second person joining Golag? Someone else may be walking into the drawing room at this point.
I think I'd be up fairly early.
Okay.
By standard.
Me too.
Okay, so we see Dr. Ursprung come up from downstairs where he has been working, and Sally comes alighting the stairs to come down into the bedroom. I think alighting actually means going up, so whatever the opposite of that is.
Ascending.
There you go. Descending the stairs. So she comes into the room. You both come in, and I'm trying to recall. I think Dr. Ursprung, you had dealings with Father Tilcott when you were dealing with that business with Major Fitzhume. So I think, like you actually, I don't believe you were involved in that mystery. The vampiric, when we first met the Ghoul Father?
I don't think so.
Okay. So, what happens next? And we can assume Basil is going to be shortly, arriving shortly afterwards.
I think, so Golag, now that I think about it, irrespective of who's sitting around, even if he's alone, he raps on the paper and says, I think everyone should take a look at this story at the front page. and then only belatedly looks up to see if anyone's, listening, or, if it's just Sylvan staring at him, or,
So I think Dr. Ursprung and Sally, you hear Golag seemingly talking to himself, or perhaps you not aware of your absence?
I'll certainly take a look. I'll be interested to see what has grabbed his attention.
Yeah.
Pass it over.
Golag, have you been having gin at breakfast again?
Golag looks puzzled, but just passes it across.
So, Dr. Ursprung, what you can see is it appears that they spared no expense here, because they've sent out one of the light writers, those fabulous new inventions that capture images, and there's a very fancy-looking display of the ruins, the smoking ruins of this church. Or I suppose they would have caught it when it's still ablaze. And it reminds you very much, I can't imagine that this is so far away from the time of the fire at your clinic that it doesn't remind you of that. You can almost smell the acrid scent of burning timbers and scorched flesh.
This is this crazed man again. It seems maybe he's the culprit. I know Basil was investigating.
Yes.
Nolan.
if I got aware of this and there has been another fire, then this has been the 5th or 6th incident.
Basil
If
does
I
have
recall.
incredibly keen ears. I think he's shouting this as he's coming down the stairs.
Yeah. Elizabeth Green, Dr. Green, told me that there had been 5 more fires like this, if I remember correctly.
Yep. Yeah. He's got his calling card almost. Was it just the church that was burnt down, or was it the surrounding area?
In this case,
again?
yeah. Like the churches typically, when even though Paridar is incredibly overbuilt and whatnot, the churches most often are left kind of freestanding.
Yeah. Okay.
Serve as an edifice for the Church of the Whole, or the Church of the Heavenly Host.
That's a very small.
So, Gulag, do you remember that you asked your uncle about this person, and he wouldn't tell you really anything? I think we should investigate some more. It might be very dangerous, but we can't have the city burn up.
Oh, no question. I think we have an appointment in the mission that promises to be eventful. So we should be prepared.
Baron Head, I believe, he was known to be at some mission at Baron Head.
Barrow.
Oh, Barrowhead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a grave. Nothing portentous about that.
When we are prepared, I think that is our... That is a necessary destination.
So you still have as well, this is the day after the episode with the Kelpie, or the issue with the Kelpie. So that you still have yet to report that information to, Dr. or Professor Galberry or any of his colleagues. I'm trying to think, what other balls do you have in the air at present? You need to have the interview with or you've already had your interview with Miss Carrington. It's just a matter of when she's going to run the article.
The ship. So we haven't, that's a whole nother investigation, is the insurance card flicking abandoned ship that we haven't really, since Ms. Dumir did some underwater investigation, was perhaps the last.
Yeah, and that was only like 2 days ago that she did that.
It feels like so much longer. But, yes, indeed. Yeah. So there's all that. There's a whole other chapter, a whole other section of investigations that we could perhaps undertake on that presumably different subject. But on this one, I feel like that's about it. That's a lot. I mean, the mission is a big one, and then reporting back. Yeah, reporting to. We definitely need to report to the professor, probably ASAP.
Okay.
As part of our follow-up.
I don't really remember. Had we found out anything about what this Brother Lope had done before he became this person?
You have not yet. No one has followed up with any contacts with the. What do you call it? Within the church itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. That's it. Before we go to the mission, I would think. Maybe the professor this morning. Obviously, we can also split up when it comes to things like notifications and things like this. But maybe the professor this morning for at least part of us, if not all of us, and then the after. What about? Was there a time of day? I guess there was not a time of day associated with the mission visit, right? It was any time. It wasn't.
If you guys are planning on visiting the mission at Barrowhead, then you know that this is a non-church sanctioned kind of charity organization or charity endeavor. It's Brother Loeb himself who's supposed to be running it. So I'm not sure who you would make an appointment with. It's really a matter of just showing up. Dr. Ersprung's neighborhood is not great. Barrowhead is worse in terms of poverty and such.
So
everyone advised us not to go there, basically, didn't they?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody. It's unanimous.
So that's where we're going.
That's the spirit.
Can't really move forward without eventually going there, I think. I mean, we can do preparation for the visit. Like, I think the investigation to the church is a good natural low-hanging fruit move.
It's an adjoining neighborhood as well, so it wouldn't be difficult to do that. We're almost coming up on a year on this campaign, and your DM still hasn't done a fucking map of the city.
Come on,
man. Jeez.
Meet with the professor, do some church investigating to the church, and finally the mission visit. Can't think of anything beyond that, unless kind of a very vague. I'm just brainstorming, but unless we wanted to try to use some kind of society contact to kind of go that route. I tried it through my father, but that's not. I mean, he's society, but he's very, very peculiar society.
Yeah,
and
maybe
so we just
should.
go more.
Yeah, more like the underground society. You mean?
Yeah. Exactly. So I don't think that's I think that's reasonable. It's vague. We don't have an end there as per se on this subject, but I mean that's not terrible. It's not ridiculous. I don't think.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for going into the rough area, the blundering straight into the pond without any forethought worked out with the Kelpie, so
Yeah.
I'm sure this won't go wrong.
Meet Jameer with her typical cheer and yes, indeed. I would think we'd probably all go on the church, the investigating through the church, since it's so close geographically and it's kind of on our way in. So I would think we'd all go on that one.
Okay.
If we wanted to split, we could certainly split up for the professor notification. There's no need for everyone to go on that. So if someone else wants to do something else in preparation for tonight, that would make sense. So if someone, and perhaps even Golag, perhaps even me, would want to work a society angle while the professor's being notified, that could make sense this morning.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
So, I mean, I would try to really reach into the underworld to get something about this Brother Loeb. And
Okay.
I'm not sure whether Golak is helpful there.
Let's not count out, Golag right off the bat. Let's see. He's he actually, I beg your pardon, he has underworld skill to a training 6. It's not horrible.
Okay,
It's
so
actually he's a plus 10 overall on underworld. He just doesn't. So whatever. I mean, either that or society makes sense for him too. So either something a little more above board, that's someone that I typically think keeps abreast and is willing to talk to me, or helping out Basil below board, if you will.
And is the plan for today to go to collectively go to the ruins of the church or the remains of the church this morning, and then spread out and conduct other investigations?
Yeah, good call. We need to go to the. I left out that obvious. We need to go to the site. We need to go to the crime scene.
You certainly don't need to. I mean, I want you to feel free to go where you like, when you like. But if that's you had mentioned that before, so I want to clarify if that's what the intent is for all you to go there and then head out. So where?
Yeah, I think that's.
Just we have a plan for today. What is so the church? And then what are Golag and Basil are going to be asking around about Brother Loeb?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes. It sounds like Golag is going to assist Basil on that matter. Is that right?
What do you think?
Yeah, we could do it then.
Okay. So we'll just focus on Underworld then. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
I'll assist him.
Ms. Dumer and Dr. Ursprung, what do you guys have in mind for today?
We're going to go to the college?
Yeah, I think so. Especially as Sally was the one who saw the new spire.
Okay.
Safety in numbers.
All right. I need to find one quick name here. Where is it? It's the transformed Fang Dragon. Definitely not a Fang Dragon. Don't worry about that.
Page 100 in the Dark Archives. I think that's what you're looking for.
I just want to make sure. I thought I had given a name to someone here. And if I have, I don't want to have to give him a second name. Okay. All right. Okay. Then, once you guys finish your breaking a fast, you guys hop in your carriage, your horseless carriage, and get it rounded up. Remind me again, what is on the side at present? Is there advertising on it?
I mean, I think I've thought of many things, and they're so unseemly that I've just remained with, and Sylvan almost, perhaps Sylvan like puts his foot down occasionally, like, are you serious? Like, I'll come up with some like, balloons and some ridiculous nonsense. And he almost just refuses by passively refuses to sully.
I'm sorry, sir. We had difficulty having the balloons attached.
Right. So it remains simply, the firm name, the Shadow Illuminations.
So you pass by like a Barnum and Bailey circus style, like big canvas thing to hang on the side. You're like, one day.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah, totally.
It is late summer.
Especially when we solve the insurance business.
Most definitely. Then perhaps an advertising Zeppelin of some kind. Better life on the outer colonies. Ooh.
See what my father says about that.
So, when you arrive, when you make your way across town, it's still early summer at this point, so it's still quite hot, even this early in the day. And when you arrive, you can see Dr. Ersprung. This is a familiar sight to you. The difference being here is that the heavy stone bones of the church, as it were, are still all standing. It's really a matter of like the support beams that burned and a lot of the other stuff that burned, but much of the structure is still in place, although it gives off a black soot, covered skeletal quality to it. You can see that there is 3 water wagons similar to the one that almost ran you over a couple of nights ago. That have all, arrived, and there's still people milling about in their like Victorian style, fireman's gear, complete with some, Paridar flourished, clockwork driven or coal driven, I should say, hoses to keep everything, out. You can see members of the Paridar constabulary there as well. And it appears that there are 2 out front. There are 2 black stained white sheets that are cast over 2, obviously what are 2 bodies. So as you guys, there is your horseless carriage draws attention not only from the locals but also from the constabulary and the fire department. And I think as you stop, go like, I imagine that you have great flourish in taking those goggles off, your driving goggles off as you...
Goggles are sweet.
Mm-hmm. And change over from your driving gloves to your normal gloves. So, as that is happening, what do you guys wish to do? There looks like there's some members of the constabulary who are here. There's the ruins themselves. There's the remains. And there is a small crowd that has collected around here as well.
Do we recognize any of the policemen there?
Why don't you give us a society check, please? Let's set the difficulty. This one's only, for you, Basil, is only going to be, I think, a 16.
Nice.
Easy, yep. Okay, so yeah, there is, it is one of, is it Captain Withers? That's your... Yeah, Odie Withers is your contact there. One of Withers' proteges.
Mm-hmm. So maybe we could ask him for a little bit to have a peek at the dead bodies, maybe.
Yeah.
So have Dr. Earthsprung have a look at them. So.
Okay, so this is, we'll call him Dr. or Constable Carruthers.
Mm-hmm. So
Edward Carruthers.
Edward. Mm-hmm. Excuse me, Constable Carruthers.
He's writing down something in his little notepad, and he looks down, and he says, "Oh, Mr. Rathbone, hello."
Yeah. Hello. Would it be possible for our Dr. Earthsprung to have a look at the dead bodies? We have seen similar cases in the last few days. As you may have known, his hospital was burning down.
He looks way up at Dr. Earthsprung. "Oh, hello, Doctor. I've heard about you."
Hope it's good things.
Oh. Well, Captain Withers says good things about our Master Rathbone here, so if you keep company with him, I suppose, good apples stay with good apples, eh?
That would be very kind, yeah.
I'm sorry, Mr. Rathbone, there's not much. He's welcome to have a look for what's there, but there's not much left from the fire. It's really burned down.
Yeah. I'm just eager to see whether it was only the fire that killed them or if they had been dead before, maybe.
Oh. And he kind of scratches his head. I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, please. And Master Rathbone, if it's not disrupting, you mind if might I listen in?
Yeah, sure.
Right. And he turns and he's like, "Trevor, you're in charge. Get them instructions." And he makes his way over with the rest of you. So, Dr. Earthsprung, there are two, you've spent more than enough time around cadavers to know that there obviously are two bodies underneath here. Mm-hmm. You search out, one of them appears to be a woman's, you don't need to make a roll for this, you can tell at a glance, it's a woman's skeleton, and then there's a man's skeleton, both adults. The woman, you may have to take a closer look, but she may have some more unusual blood. Just the body seems not quite elven in its structure, but somewhat like that. So she may have been of mixed race, mm-hmm. and or mixed ancestry, I suppose, in Pathfinder. And the other gentleman, though, you can tell is certainly an adult male, human, and would definitely fit the size and physiognomy of Father Tokot. Their bodies are charred and scorched, but they're not like burned down to just bones. It's it's the kind of, it's a body in a fire. Would you give us if you're going to take a look, give us a medicine check, please? Yeah. Holy shit. That's a critical hit on this. So, a couple of things that stand out to you on the woman. She seems there's some fractures on the skeleton, but they appear to be post-mortem, just from the way, the nature of the injuries, almost as if she collapsed and then sort of the building kind of collapsed around her. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. But on Father Tokot, there's a couple of things that do stand out. For one, you're going to want to know where his body was found, because it'll be interesting to tell whether these are, whether these injuries occurred after he died, in the course of his death, or whatnot. There is no injury to the skull, which is what you would expect. Someone, bonk him on the head, burn his place down, then he's caught in the fire. That's not the case. However, there are horrific injuries right around, like the scapula and the what do you call it? What would the other one? So scapula back here, clavicle is what I'm thinking of. The clavicle and scapula have been completely broken, fractured, not fractured, broken fully. Almost as if, and with a roll that good, you can sort of hold your hand out, your big meaty, hand, and it's as if something grabbed him so hard that it shattered his collarbone and his shoulder blade in one grip. You can see there are not broken, but fractures in his fingers, as if he was desperately trying to break that. The fingernails on several of his fingers have broken off. With that, again, that good of a roll, you can almost picture him desperately clawing at whatever was holding him, trying to get himself free. it does appear that the yeesh stabbers on the are on the run from Saskatchewan. Apparently, it's got a text message. So, if you guys are looking for another investigation, we have 2 people assaulting people with a knife coming from Saskatchewan. So, can you hear us, Goldag? Oh, let's see here.
Possibly not.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
John, can you hear us now? Marco? Let's see. Let's see. Not yet. Okay. Okay, well, we'll keep yapping, and then... we'll keep an eye on... whatchamacallit? Zoom. Yeah, his mic is turned off in Zoom as well. Yeah, what you can find, or what you can tell, is that his that there's those injuries that were sustained. And everyone gets a hero point as well too. There's some timing. Apart from that, it seems as if he just burned to death.
So as this is going on, I'll be describing it to Basil and the constable, a bit like Sherlock Holmes would do, you know, when he's describing what he sees at a scene. And then the other thing I wanted to, does it look like natural sort of fire, or the heat of natural fire, or is it sort of almost a hotter fire that's potentially burnt them?
Yeah, you'd want to, I think, like if you had like profession firefighter, that would be the ideal, background skill for it. But I think that you could certainly make use of crafting, probably, to do that. Perception would have a higher target number for it, just because it's more of a general purpose kind of thing, and it's a specialized area to detect where a fire is starting from, right? But you certainly could walk the premises. The fires seem to be out right now.
Yeah, so I'll ask the constable, would it be all right for me to have a walk inside?
He seems to be, his eyes are fixed on Father Tokat's corpse. But then if he realizes you talking to him, he's, sorry, what? You...
Would it be okay for us to have a quick look inside?
Oh yeah, them fire chaps have it out right now, so I think it's fine for you to go in. Please.
Basil, would you like to join me?
Yeah.
And might I join you as well?
Yeah, sure.
Of course, it's your crime scene.
Oh yes. Right, this is, and he looks down at Father Tokat. It is a crime, I suppose. Who could have done such a thing? Are you saying, Dr. Archibald, he was held in place whilst it burned around him?
Yeah, there are some creatures that are maybe immune to fire.
A large creature, I would say, very strong, as I described the breaks.
He spares a look over at Igor as it stalks up next to you.
I'd say much bigger.
Oh, I see. Scribbles something down on his pad. Sean, can you hear us again? So Sean's mic is working again now. It's just his... Let's see. So he... If you make your way in, let's see here. I think so Basil, do you want to assist with this? That might be a lower target number. Okay. So give us and you can, I'm assuming this is your current investigation now, or one of. All right.
Yes.
So you can add your investigation bonus to this. This is a flat DC 20.
Yeah, I would use perception.
Yep.
I suppose.
Yep.
And then.
Okay. Oh my.
Yeah, I think I use a hero point. I mean,
That sounds good.
It can be worse, but only a little bit.
Oh my God, what's going on?
Yeah, it's just
Oh, a
the
4.
smell here. It just
Yeah, it could very
Distress.
well be, right? Like it's still stuff is still burning in. I'll put this in here for easy access for Sean. So as you're looking around, you can tell. I think you're focusing on just some things that maybe aren't crucial or aren't critical for Dr. Ursprung. Neither of those are critical failures. You're not like distracting him with stuff. Hey, what about this over here? No, that's not important. And this over here, still not important. How about this? Can you want to look outside, maybe? So, Dr. Ursprung, would you give us? Let me set the. I think the difficulty here is going to be a 20.
Okay.
So this will be a crafting check at 20, please. Nice.
Okay.
So you can picture. Actually, now let's bring us all over to here the cavernous interior here. Because of the nature of this thing, I'm going to just alter our usual setup here and set you guys up in a tiered order. And we'll keep stitches away for now. So as you're walking in here too, the one thing that is obviously different about the church you're walking in is that it is completely blackened with soot. You know, and there is, I told them. And there's always an eye for detail. As you're looking around, you do a proper walkthrough of what remains of the church. This was never it's not a huge structure, but every one of these ones, particularly in Paridar, they're still built with an enormous amount of grandeur. This was the capital, you know, and each of these things built in the respective communities they predate the sprawl that came from the expansion of Paridar and the growth of industry. So even though it has a small, you know, like a small area for giving services and whatnot, it still extends up quite high. You search around in here, and then you make your way back to the entrance and kind of look down and look around. And it is, you would guess it's the entrance is where this entire thing burst out. Basil, I will let you give us one more perception check, please, because of your inquisitive nature.
Yeah, well, maybe.
There you go.
It's getting better.
So, Basil, you're kind of looking around, and you can almost see like what Dr. Ursprung's, you know, explaining. You can see where the fire's extended out from here and burned along and whatever. It's not obvious, you know, but when he points it out to you, sort of the, you know, the whatever it is, the fire dynamics that go from here and spread throughout the church, it makes sense to you as to how this happened. It would have gone so quickly as well. But you notice something actually not up on the walls or around. You notice something on the ground. Let me let Sean in the call here. It appears that there is on the ground, in spite of it's almost hidden in the char that's on the ground, but you get down and you sort of blow all the like soot and whatnot that's collected in it. There appears to be about Sean, can you hear us now?
Typing.
Let's see here. I see he's typing, so I'm guessing that's no. So while Sean sorts that out, what you see, Basil, is there is. It looks like it's about maybe about 2.5 or 3 inches across, but it's as if someone drove not a spike, because it's too long, but there's a cut. It's as if someone drove the spiked end of something or pointed end of some flat blade into it. Perhaps a pick, or the vicious end of a sword, or I don't know. Some kind of massive pole arm, perhaps. But it's very like the lines in the stone are quite fresh, so they are. It's quite obvious that this is something that likely occurred very, very recently.
Oh, so have you used any pickaxes to get access to the bodies? I asked the whatever constable was called.
Constable Carruthers?
Carruthers,
the operator in chat.
There seems to be marks of some kind of pickaxes or weapons or something like that.
I'll check with him, but I don't think so. Them doors, and he points back at these big, heavy wooden doors. Them doors burned off their hinges before they ever got here, so they were able to get in here without much trouble.
So this seems
Much bother,
to be then,
I suppose he'd say.
Yeah, part of the crime scene. Maybe we should get some kind of I don't know, prints of these marks or so.
What? He looks down. What do you think it is, Master Rathbone?
Yeah, what do I think it is?
Apart from what I've said, like it's about 3 inches across at the widest, and then it goes down into a point in there. I think that perhaps you maybe you take a slip of paper from his or a piece of paper from his journal and sort of put it down in there to see if it goes down straight, and then you turn it and push it down. You mark a line across it, bring it up, and it's a point about like that.
Yeah.
He says, "What do you make of that?"
It might be a blade or some kind of I don't know.
Oh, this here is where we found Father Tilcott. You seen whatever was here put? Did they attach something to him, or is this something else?
Maybe he was not held by a person, but by some kind of evil device or so. I don't know.
God, what kind of diabolical mind would think to put a man of the cloth attached to a device like that, and then set fire to the church?
Yeah, we hope to find out.
Oh, is this is this the sort of thing that you and Captain Withers you pooled information on?
Normally we would, yes, because sometimes there are areas where the captain could not go legally.
Okay. Wait. He's not quite sure what to make of that. He's trying to figure. He's like, did he just admit to committing a crime?
No, obviously not.
So while they're doing this, Sally, I think you are outside, and what you notice that is, or the thing of note that happens, you can see there's the crowd that's gathered around here. There's the fire department that's putting out the last of the fire brigade, I suppose, that's putting out the last of the, remaining fires and packing up their gear and such. There are a couple of other constables in here, but you see the crowd kind of parts and a horse-drawn carriage comes in. That stops, the door opens, and this fairly severe-looking man steps out of it, who walks with he's dressed quite well. You, in your the course of your life on land, have had an opportunity to see both those of means and those without, and this is most certainly one of the former. But this man doesn't. He walks with the authority that you know of the nobility or the aristocracy, or at least the rich. But he doesn't walk with the pomposity. He seems to have the strut of a man with a purpose. You've seen something like that in veterans before. And this man makes a beeline directly for the constable, Trevor, that Constable Carruthers had left in charge. There's a quick talk to him. You see that the man brings out some kind of, like a leather, not a valise, but like a leather wallet of some kind, demonstrates something to the police or to the constable. And then he explains something. He seems to say something that he wants the agreement of the constable. You can tell that because the constable's like nodding and nodding and then nodding again.
Yeah,
and then finally,
I think we should go.
he turns and... Oh, perfect. Outstanding.
Testing. Can you hear me?
We can hear
Yes.
you too, yeah.
Okay, good.
Perfect.
Sorry.
Did you miss the part where Golag was pickpocketed?
I knew something was coming. He spontaneously burst into flames. Yeah, I know. I caught the tail end of that. I caught just the tail end.
So then what you see, Sally, is this man leaves. He stands while the constable comes racing towards you and your companions, where you're inside the church. And this man, he meets your eyes. There is a... Why don't you give us an... Let's see here. Oh, boy.
Something I'm good at, check.
Yeah. When I will say actually, before I slander the DM screen, let me take a quick peek here. Because one of the things I love about some of the DM screens we've used recently is the list of skills that they include on it. Okay, I can freely slander now. It's not on the screen. Just because, especially if you run a bunch of different games, it's sometimes nice to be able to have a quick reference of like, oh yeah, that's what you call it in this game. Okay, two ways you could look at both this. I think you could give a perception check, or you could give a society check to judge what the expression that this stranger is giving you before he turns on his heel and makes his way back to his carriage.
Oh, I'll try a perception check then.
Sure. Nat one.
Yay.
You want to spend a hero point and re-roll that?
Wait, why not? Let's
Okay.
Still dismal.
Yeah, it's what you can tell at the very least is it's certainly not friendly. Then he turns and makes his way back. And before you really, you could try and like race after him. You certainly could catch him if you want to do that. But Constable Trevor comes up and he says, Eddie, might I have a word? And Constable Carruthers, he's still looking at that marking on the ground with you, Basil. And he looks up, he says, just a moment, gents. Walks outside. Sadly, there's a bit of a back and forth between the two. Trevor insists on he and Eddie moving away from you guys to have a quick conversation. And then Eddie comes back in, and he has the look of a kid who's, at his birthday just had his, new toy broken by someone. And he kind of looks at you guys. I'm afraid it's been deemed an accident here, Master Rathbone, so we need to close this down. We've been instructed to bring the bodies back to the morgue and conduct any further to not permit further investigations. So
I totally understand. Could you tell us just we don't need any names, but what kind of agency decided that this was an accident? It was not the normal police, I suppose.
No, it was the Ministry of Internal Security.
Oh, I see. Yeah, then at that point it is very much sure that this was an accident, isn't it?
This ain't no accident, stupid people.
Yeah, you can tell.
I'm sure they know it's no accident.
Yeah, Carruthers clearly, you can see like he is pawing over and like turning over his little, Bobby's hat, like something fierce, and he's like, I understand, and I respect the craft that you all bring to your investigations, but, you know...
Yes.
Orders is orders.
Yeah, don't worry. We won't follow this any longer. You're nothing to worry. We will close our investigation. I assure you.
So he stops turning the hat, kind of looks at you, looks sideways to make sure Trevor can't overhear.
And I wink.
Is that what I should tell Captain Withers then?
Yes, and maybe you should tell about the wink as well.
He suddenly seems rejuvenated. Oh, I will. Boom. Bobby hat back on. I will. A pleasure watching you work. It has been an honor. And he turns and heads out the door. Trevor is looking in. Are they wrapping up?
Yeah, I'll just storm out.
Yeah. Oh. So, anything else you guys wish to do here? So, Golag, what's happened? Actually, let's quickly, why don't you guys tell Golag, what did you... I think Golag was perhaps dealing with, while you guys were investigating, he was dealing with fans. I assure you, nothing to see here, nothing, simply a mystery, an enduring mystery, which the authorities have remained baffled for. So the Shadow Illuminations Detective Agency, which you can be found very conveniently down on... and this is what's been going on. So perhaps, Sally, you were outside.
And I'm standing right by the vehicle, the emblem on the vehicle.
Yeah, and kept trying to gesture back at your banner, like, picture this, but with a banner on it. It will look, so Sally, you may have been standing outside, letting them do the work inside and ensuring that Golag doesn't get himself in trouble with anything. And because of his...
Well, also, I'm sure it's very hot and dry in there, so I'm not going into any place like that.
Most assuredly. Yeah, most assuredly. So, Golag, you come running back, and Dr. Ersprung has sort of, as you're, making your way towards it, you can see there are two bodies that have like soot-covered sheets draped across them. But the way Dr. Ersprung comes storming out of the burned remnants of the church, and Basil has his whiskers are a twitching, suggests that something might be... You may have missed something.
What's have we solved it? And he smiles.
We should discuss this more privately, I suppose.
I see. And you're saying we should discuss it privately now, I take it.
Yes.
Public.
Maybe I could just have a quick, just the quickest peek, and he says over his shoulder as he turns away and strides towards the bodies, just the quickest peek at the body. And
that's when Trevor sort of stops in the way. He says, "Hey, you've been told."
Yeah.
Oh, I missed it. I was over there, just the quickest of peeks.
Golag, just follow us. I think we are finished here. I can tell you anything we need to know.
I doubt it. And you can tell he has something afoot. He's not rambling, as he sometimes does.
So this constable, the one constable that you have not been dealing with, Trevor, he has arms crossed and is standing as standing as an obstruction for Golag getting to those bodies.
Yeah. Can I try to intercept Golag and
most
whisper
definitely.
something to him? Yeah. Golag, we can find it in the morgue maybe, but the Ministry of Internal Security was here or something, or someone of them. We can't publicly investigate here any further.
I see.
To give context, this is the first time you guys have you've heard of, but this is the first time you have encountered the Ministry of Internal Security in Paridar.
He says he says, "Oh, I didn't understand." He says he trots up to Trevor, Officer Trevor. Officer Trevor? Is that the
Constable?
Constable. Says, "Oh, Constable, good work." And then he pivots towards the church and hustles over towar's the church a bit.
"Hey!" says Trevor.
And he
"You
just
got an ear
places
behind those pointed ears?"
And he's going to endeavor to put his hand on the door of the church.
He's going to physically stop you if you get too close to the church.
I'm going to try to beat him there.
Okay. So why don't you give us an athletics check, please? And we'll set the difficulty at 18, please.
All right. Oh, all right. First.
You want to hero point that?
First point spent. Oh, he catches me.
Golag is on the ground at the base of the stairs, and he says, we told you, and he's beginning to place Golag under arrest.
While he's doing that, is there any chance I can try and get a bit of clothing, or is there any sort of clothing or any sort of remains on either of these bodies? Because I know what Golag's trying to do, I believe.
Oh, clothing. Yeah. Why don't you give us I think it's a thievery check. This will be same thing, DC 18.
Oof, okay.
No, I will try and intervene and calm down the
Sure. Okay, so this will be a 20 diplomacy to try and talk him out of actually arresting Golag here.
Say, officer, really, you know what he's like. He's so impulsive. We'll get him out of your way. It's outrageous of him, I know.
He looks up, and you can see then Constable Carruthers comes up, and he says, come on, Trevor, let him go. He wasn't listening. He's just trying to do a job, trying to make his money. Come on. And he knew the man. Trevor's kind of got him on the ground. Yanks
Golag tries
up.
Does a poor job of trying to conjure a tear. I mean, it's probably ridiculous, but he's like, yeah, it's a bit much right now. You have to understand.
So he picks him up, he lifts you up, and kind of like puts you back down on your feet. All right, you just don't cause no more trouble. And he nods to you, Sally. You keep your nose clean.
I'm off to mourn a bit, and I head for my vehicle. I head for the vehicle.
I'll need a big handkerchief for Golag then.
Dr. Ersprung, you are able to collect the samples of the clothing, if that's what you were intending.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. From Chilcot, or from the woman, or from both?
Both, if possible.
Yep.
But the father, if I don't have time.
Yeah. So you go. What you can see, Golag, is. Would you give us a society check, or what's your thing that allows you to access information about secret societies? Is that occult?
Occult.
Yeah, give us an occult roll.
All right. Next point spent.
Good stuff. Well, actually, and you know what? You all get a hero point right now as well. So.
Oh, nice. Let's see.
So you just keep yourself at 1.
There we go.
There you go. 29. All right. So that's actually a critical. What you can see is there is a black carriage that seems to be sitting, and it's a very wealthy looking thing, but not ostentatious. What you can see subtly as you're kind of walking away, and this is kind of on the far side of the square where this church has burned, you can see there is a small symbol on it that appears to be like kind of a combination of a stylized it's almost like a pentagram, but mixed with that of a depiction of a goat skull. It's very subtle on the thing. So that's one thing you notice, and that seems to be where it is definitely not the markings of the Ministry of Internal Security. It is something to do with a secret society. And what the critical effect is you have seen that exact same marking on cufflinks, on hat pins, on brooches, on canes of some of the titans of industry that you have seen your father deal with. And in fact, didn't Elwood Eckhart on his cane have that very marking. Excuse me.
As soon as I see that, I am going to make for the shadow of my carriage. I pivot. I mean, not much. I was already heading towards carriage, but I'm going right for the nearest shadow of the carriage.
Okay. Now, did anyone else want to intercept Golag and explain what he's missed here?
I've been busy. I'm running around. Everyone's trying to catch me.
Unstoppable.
Right.
Okay.
Just because I'm curious, is there someone looking suspiciously like he did arson and wants to view the spectacle now?
Frankly, with this behavior, Golag.
No, yeah, some kind of bystander, looking at his.
Why don't you give us a perception check, Basil?
Yeah.
Let's see if you can see anyone in the crowd.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
You're looking around. You do a pretty thorough survey. That doesn't include your investigation bonus, right?
Yeah, that's 24 with the bonus.
24 with the bonus. So you survey the crowd. You don't see anyone. No. More importantly, you don't see someone like the type of thing that you were thinking of with the like a wild-haired preacher looking on and whatnot. Yeah. There's no one there of that. But what you do notice, though, with that roll is you look down. There is... I was just curious. You may need some assistance with this, but there is a char-covered hoof print, unshod, on the ground. And you're sort of looking at that like... What the? Well, Golag kind of makes his way over to the shadows. And what are you intending on doing, Golag?
I am going to dispatch my shadow. I'm going to look for it to try to slink in shadows into the shadow of that carriage.
Okay. It can easily do so. It is underneath there now.
And I'm then going to rest against my carriage with my hand on my forehead, obviously mourning, and then focus my senses on my shadow.
Okay. And so your shadow is underneath the carriage right now.
And I'm going to try, if there's any dark side of the carriage, I want it to slink up to a window, if possible.
Okay. Why don't you give us a stealth check for your shadow?
And it's got its own. This has been a while.
Does
it have its own roles? Right?
Yeah, and make sure you've leveled up the your shadow
That's
as
an
well.
Excellent point.
Let's see here. Okay, yeah, because you're listing as a level 2 familiar. Okay. Let's see. So then it's stealth. I don't know if those stats are correct.
Yeah.
Because that AC is way low. What I'll do is I have 3 things on my to-do list this afternoon. It's a long weekend in North America this weekend, so I can work on some gaming shit tonight. I have 3 things. One of them is to get George his stats for his staff that I'm a month overdue getting. Number 2 is the rules for the Book of Shadows that you collected, which I believe I am 2 months overdue getting to you. Number 3 will be to make sure the shadow stats are updated correctly. So
I can do that too. I should have done that.
Which also,
I was looking at the abilities. I was on it with the abilities, but of course, yeah.
Actually, for yours, because I wanted to do cool over balance. I gave you access to a shadow familiar well before you could actually gain access to it. Rules as written. The power level of your shadow is still the same, but it was just too cool of an idea to gate behind you reaching level 8 or whatever it was.
Oh wow!
Yeah. It's really not. It's not a huge difference in it. It's, people use their familiars for exactly the same type of things. So. So then, let's see here. That's a long way of saying. I think that your stealth rating for it. Let's just assume it's got a dex of 2 at least. That would be 6, 7, 8 would be the bonus. Is that right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so give us a 1d20 plus 8 roll. Wait. And it's a shadow. Hold on. I think it gets a bonus to sneak in too, doesn't it?
It should.
Yeah. So let me just take a look in the bestiary and see what Shadow gets in that, and we'll just apply that for now. It's probably a +5, but let's see here. Okay, it says it betrays you at the first opportunity. That's weird. Huh. It seems so unlike anything I would use against you.
Crazy.
All right, so that is a +4. Yeah, it's +4 is what it gets.
Okay.
Because it's 4, 8, 9, 10, and then it'd be +4. Okay. So that's a long way of saying what it should be is 4 and a +11 to your dice roll.
All right.
Okay. Nice. All right. So this thing goes up, and then what? Are you trying to like peek in the window or something?
I'm trying to hear, really. I mean, you know what? Peeking would be optimal. Hearing is my baseline, and if I can get a little,
it is quite dark in there, so like your shadow would be less likely to. And it's a black, wagon, or carriage, so it's probably gonna be difficult for it to be seen as it slinks up the side and then pokes its head in.
As my father said, no guts, no glory. So, he's trying to get a little peek in the corner. Yeah, absolutely.
What you can see is the man that I guess you missed the description of it. It's a very severe-looking man dressed in. He is dressed and has the kind of arrogance or confidence of one of the aristocracy, but he also has that look of a veteran. He has the almost severe, close shave. And he has he's resting his hands on a small cane, and he's staring out the window at the in the direction of the ruins and the investigation. There's no one else in the carriage other than him, and I think with your shadow has dark vision, I believe, as well, so you can see on the ring that he's wearing on his finger, there is the same symbol that is on the side of the carriage. It's very subtle as well. He's doing nothing else other than watching at this point.
Okay.
What are the rest of you guys doing as Golag is sort of focused on this?
Mourning. I'm mourning.
So, Adam, could you help me here? I think we need some kind of, I don't know, a print of this hoof print. No, we could make maybe something out of I don't know, clay, or I don't know, whatever we use as material to get some kind of imprint.
I think Adam would have access, or Dr. Earthsprung would have access to plaster. I don't think that's an unreasonable expectation.
Yeah, I'll reach in and take something from Igor.
Okay.
From his toolkit. Yeah.
Why don't you give us a I think a crafting check, please.
Okay.
Okay. So here's something curious. As you start layering the stuff down, you realize it's not just that this is a charred print. It's actually burned into the stone slightly. Like, how does that happen? It's almost as if it was very...
on fire.
Yeah, like it somehow burned the stone soft enough so it would be like hard-packed mud, and it would leave an imprint on it. It also seems as you're... let's hear. Who has training in nature between the two of you? Either of...
No.
Yes, I'm trained in nature.
Give us a nature check, please.
Yeah.
You want to hear a point that?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just...
There you go.
that's
So here's the other curious thing. Now that you're actually looking at it, kind of looking down, this is not a horse print. It is a very large goat print.
Oh. Goat. So this was a flaming goat. Oh, gosh.
Is this another sort of demon or something that's come through this spire?
Yes.
Do we think?
I think they're called devils, but so at least it's not a kelpie. So I'm assured that's okay.
If it's not water, it's fire.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh great.
That is truly what my goal is now in this campaign, is make you guys pine for the Kelpie. Remember how easy that Kelpie was? My God. Why? So, Sally, you can see, I suppose you've seen Golag, doing when he's linked up with his, he may not be, it may not be obvious to Trevor or, Constable Trevor, but when he's, seeing through his, familiar's eyes, and he has that expression. You can see Dr. Ersprung and Basil are at work on something over there. What are you doing?
Well, with the guy who left, he's gone, right?
He has gone back in his carriage, but the carriage has not departed yet.
Now, is there any? If I'm looking at his carriage and everything, is there any way of getting to anyone that came with him that's not, out of earshot of him?
That's a curious thing. Is it doesn't?
You see what I mean?
Yeah, I mean there is. He seems to have traveled by himself in the carriage, and there is a like a coachman sitting on top, but he, he seems disinterested and has some of those newfangled like little sunglasses on as well.
Okay, I will go. Let me just see. Do I actually even have any skill in this before I hurl myself into something ridiculous?
When has that ever held back any character from doing something?
Yeah, that's not really going to work. So I will instead go up to the friendlier cop and just say, "But who was that fine gentleman? Clearly a man of station."
He says, what gentleman are you talking about? Oh, the one that spoke to Trevor.
Yes, indeed.
That's and he kind of once again leans in to try and stay out of Trevor's earshot. This time I am going to make a roll for him because Trevor's thinking that Eddie's getting a little too familiar with you guys. And the only reason that would be of concern to him is because if he can rat him out, that may lead to a promotion for him. So he, Trevor, if you have not figured out, is an absolute piece of shit.
No.
So,
even with my perception.
So he leans in and he says, he's from, you'd best take care, Miss Dumer. He's from the, and Trevor unfortunately has overheard this. And he says, he's from the government. That's all you need to know. Water lady. And he walks over and just kind of stands looming. And Constable says, I suppose that's all then that we can do, Ms. Demer. And you can see that he's actually arranging with, it looks like some of the constables are going to be putting the bodies in the back of a wagon and likely transporting it to the morgue. And he says, if you could tell your master Rathbone, I will be saying hello to Captain Withers for him. And he winks at you. And it does not appear that Trevor has noticed that.
Yeah, we're going to have to find out who this Trevor's covering up for. Just checking that I appear to be good aligned, which is so frustrating sometimes.
So,
okay. So that didn't really enlighten us much. I think we will need to. I'll go over to Dr. Ersprung and say, I think we need to speak to this Captain Withers about who this individual was. I'm sure he can find out.
I sort of sort of look over in Golag's direction. I think Golag may be working on that as we speak.
Golag is still faking. Crying.
Anything to get a tier. 1 tier. I'm trying to get 1 tier, but I can't quite. It's
Do we need some more distraction for Golag?
He seems to be doing the constables seem to have wrapped up with the bodies. They're getting ready to go.
Yeah.
And unless you have anything else you guys are doing, and you can feel free to interrupt. If not, if you don't have anything else you're doing, once the bodies are wheeled away, you can see from inside the carriage. Toot, toot, he hits the top, leans back into the shadows once again, and the carriage begins to roll away.
And once he does that, I will have the shadow disengage to another shadow, to slink into another shadow nearby.
Sure. Give us one more stealth check.
Okay. Stand by.
Nice, really nice. All right, so easily it disappears and then reappears in what do you call it? Next to you, or you are attached to you once again. So you, all right, I'm over it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, and now Golag still has missed what you guys found there and whatnot, because Sean was suffering with his thing. So do you want to bring, as you guys are all sort of collecting near the wagon, do you want to bring Golag back up to speed for what's happened thus far?
Yes, we should.
I think we'll get in the wagon and set off, and then we can discuss freely.
Could we just maybe Golag, can you find out if there is someone spying on us? Maybe, I don't want to be paranoid, but if we're really messing with people of that caliber, maybe they will have a look at us.
Mm-hmm. It seems like a fine idea.
I could look for normal spying devices with theory, but
why don't you do that, and I will see if there's anything magical about the carriage, if you think that would be best.
I don't know. I'm just if you think. Yeah.
It's not a terrible idea, and then we could also. It's never a bad idea to periodically have a look at the office too. And I'll set when we get there, I will set Sylvan about that task as well to make an extra check, as we have run into the powers that be. It seems.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. When would you guys ever come under attack in your home? I mean,
it's outrageous, but frequent.
You guys actually have a hanging sign, clockwork thing that turns over, like days without ambush in house.
Right.
Reset it. All right.
It's only got 2 numbers on it.
right.
You didn't bother putting the third one up.
Right.
There's a second one?
Yeah. Right.
So as you're going back, why don't you you can just summarize. You can do it in character if you like, or you can just summarize to Sean what he has missed thus far.
Well, the bodies, it looked like obviously they were both burnt, severely burnt, and the female body was had a few injuries that looked like masonry, or the actual church structure had sort of broken bones, etc. After she'd died from the burns and the fire. But the father, he seemed to have a lot of damage around the shoulder, the neck area, where a large, what I think was a hand or something, grasped him, picked him up. It looked like the father was trying to sort of tear it away or release the grip. He'd broken his own fingernails and things trying to get this off of him. So a large, strong creature, or we're not sure what's caused it. It's obviously done that before he died from the actual fire. So he was definitely attacked in some way.
We found also marks of a kind of sword-like weapon or something, like with a wedge that was rammed into the ground. So, and we found a hoof print burnt into the stone. So it appears to be some kind of flaming devil in my imagination, but maybe
Like
you
a horse
know more
print?
about this stuff.
Horse hoof.
Look more
No,
goat-like.
goat.
A goat, you say?
Yeah, no, but I don't think that this was actually a goat. It
Dr.
seems more
Erstron,
like a large creature with
larger
with
than that.
arms.
having it heard out loud, having it being said out loud, remind me again, your assistant, what was his name again?
This.
Your assistant in the clinic.
Oh, mine. What, Cyrus?
Cyrus. What did Cyrus say he saw in the fire?
Well, that's a good question.
Kind of an angel or something.
It was
A goat angel?
it was what you two had just said out loud.
Devil or something.
A goat.
A goat.
He said he saw a goat in there. In the flames. Because when he rushed in, you may recall he suffered burns and like smoke inhalation injuries because he tried to go back in to try and save some of the doctor's stuff, and in there he saw, he said, a goat.
So Sally will say, so in your land mythologies, does a goat have any particular significance?
Give us an
Well,
occult roll. If you like, Golag.
Yeah, right. Let's see.
Yeah. So goats can be a variety of different things. They can be like fertility and, agriculture and whatnot too, but in connection with fire and brimstone, it has a particular diabolic association.
Indeed, and I will impart that, and then, and more specifically, that carriage was replete with it on the outside and on the man within.
But just allow me to ask: Did Cyrus mention whether it was a four-legged goat or like standing like a human?
I think he just said that he saw a goat.
Yeah.
I mean, could ask him.
Indeed. And I will, if any of you have heard of a organization that is uses a pentagram combined with a goat, I will assert that this organization is possibly the head of the snake, as it is associated with that carriage and most certainly the man within.
And that's who shut down this investigation. Or
It's hard to imagine otherwise. At this, we're not. I mean, it's circumstantial, but hard to imagine otherwise.
and talking of that, I'll get out a bit of clothing from each of the victims and said, I thought you may be able to do your magic that you did with the bike with ease, maybe.
You know what I'll say then is not just clothing, still clasped in his hand that had seemingly like burned to the chest was the symbol of the host of, or the Church of the Heavenly Host. If that was what your intent, I imagine that's something that'll be more likely, more valuable. So you've got this charred remnant of the symbol of the Church of the Heavenly Host.
Gifts for me, Doctor. You shouldn't have. And he, takes possession and gives it, straightens the monocle a bit and, is eyeballing him.
Okay.
Gleefully, enthusiastically. He doesn't really get gleeful, but he gets enthusiastic.
So, why don't we do this, guys? We'll give you each, just because we're we're past the midway point of the session. Everyone get a hero point, and then max 3, obviously, and then we'll take our mid-session break now, and then we'll come back and see what you guys choose to do next. So, for those listening at home, we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
So this is a puzzling mystery.
Indeed. We have, as promised, we have run into the powers that be.
Yeah.
I think the powers that be support our friend, brother Loeb as well, or whatever his name is.
Yeah, but why would he go after you? I mean, that's what I don't understand. Going after the church, I could understand, but going after you?
Mm-hmm.
All right, sorry about that. I did not want Anna to be outside yelling at our neighbors, and she was pretty insistent that she should be able to. So, what... I've walked in on you guys strategizing. So, what did I miss?
Yeah, we were just... I was just saying that I'm puzzled about this whole goat thing, because I can't... I was thinking it was kind of a normal devil, maybe. But maybe it's more complicated. And I don't understand why I understand why a devil or some kind of hellish creature would target the church, but why would it target Dr. Earthsprung?
Or if he is behind those other fires for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, it's an awful lot of goats, so I don't think that this is a coincidence.
It rarely is in Paridar. So let's bring you guys... where are you heading next here? Do you have anything you wish to do immediately, or are you...
Want to head to the university then, since we're out and about already, and go ahead and get that taken care of? We don't, it's something that's...
Yep.
We're really just telling her. We're not even, unless she has news to tell us, which it's been pretty recent since we've spoken to her. So I'm not expecting some revelations from her team at this time. So this should be a quick one, I would think. So you want to just drop by and give her the full briefing?
The professor might know about this goat thing as well.
Oh, true.
You never know.
We can give her a try at it.
Okay.
Who is her? I'm just... Maybe I missed someone. Is there a she in the university?
Professor Galbury.
Galbury.
She's a...
Galbury identifies as a man. No, they're leshies, so they don't really have sex per se. But he he identifies as a man. He's always
continually doing that from I don't know. The picture and the name. I just whatever it is. I
can understand.
I have to say that may be a bit judgmental to say that.
Well, I mean, when you see Professor Galbury, I imagine that just he oozes feminine
very
charm
hot to the right person.
So
I have no logic. I'm just that's what I've done. Yes. So him, he, it won't take much. I don't think. We'll just give him the full briefing, and if he happens to have any new information after this short amount of time, then so be it. But giving him a strike at the goat mystery, if not the goat pentagram mystery, would be welcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you are making your way, you arrive at Collingwood University. You're making your way across campus. You actually, Sally, you hear someone. Oh, Mr. Mayor. And who you see crossing the campus towards you is Professor Morris Watson Fole.
Professor Watson Fole, how are you doing?
He bows with flourish, and I'm picturing that when the professors are on campus, they have like Oxford style kind of capes and stuff on them as well. So he is dressed up in his full lecturing, regalia as he walks over, and he says, "I'm just returning from a lecture and on my way back to my office. What brings you and your companions? Hello, all. Basil, pleasure to see you again. Dr. Earthsprung, I haven't seen you since the party. And Golag, have you actually met Professor Watson Fole?
Did he ever come to our office?
No, I don't believe so. He where you guys have met him, he's a friend of Sir... Where is he here?
Sir Archibald.
Yeah, Sir Archibald Morgan, the member of the Order of St. Sylvester.
I think we talked to him, so everyone should...
Yeah, he was at a party.
Yeah, we've met Sir Archibald Morgan. I think even Golag's met there.
Yeah, I think Yes, because you guys had that investigation into the death of that laborer. The mystery that involved the what do you call it? The aquatic gargoyle. But I don't know. So, Goldleg, you guys met Morris Watson Fole, Professor Watson Fole, at that party that I think that Goldleg might have missed, the one with the first seance. And then you went for lunch with him and Sir Archibald Morgan to talk about that the woman, the one who was behind the Elder Order of the Endless Odyssey.
Well, that would explain Watson Fole's very positive attitude.
Oh, most definitely. He's very happy to see you once again. He says
is he happier to see Sally than one would expect normally?
No, because I believe he was trying, if you may recall, he may have been trying to play a bit of a matchmaker between Ms. Dumer and Sir Archibald Morgan.
Ah, yeah, I remember. Yeah, I see.
Okay.
There was something. I remembered, but I didn't know.
Yeah. So he says, then you must be Goldleg then. I have heard so much about you, sir. A pleasure to meet you.
And me of you, finally. Finally, we make each other's acquaintance.
And indeed. What brings you to campus then? You're not enrolling in classes, are you?
Not I, but it wouldn't be a bad idea. And then looks at Ms. Dumer to follow through.
He kind of looks around and says, I don't know. And he sort of makes eye contact with one of the senior instructors for these. He says, I'm not sure that the instructing is worth the costs they're paying for it. Okay? And this man kind of harumps as he carries on, quickens his step. He says, then, if not education, what brings you to campus then?
Well, he made a little discovery, so we were coming to see Professor Galbraith and also yourself, just to share the news and to see if we could provide any details you'd be interested in.
Oh, I see. So my introduction to Professor Galbraith was fruitful then. Did you?
Very much, yeah.
I had read in the papers you had resolved that that matter with that charlatan, the medium, quite admirably.
There's still this loose end,
Well, I will wish you luck with that. If you are off to see Professor Galbraith, he will be in the I trust you know your way to the Conjuration Department? Or Department of Conjuration, I suppose. My office is in the Department of Divination.
We're getting to find our way around these days.
Good.
Getting to be a home from home.
Ms. Dumer, he kind of looks at you guys to see if you can judge, and he decides that, yeah, you guys seem to be getting along well enough. Archie had something he wished to... He was hoping to discuss it with you and bring it to any gestures to your colleagues. If there is a time, perhaps you could contact him and tell him when it might be best to stop by. I know he has been, the schedule he keeps, but I know he had been intending on discussing something with you, and I don't think that it should be put off any longer.
No, of course. I'll try and track him down.
Good. Kindly. Perhaps, will you be home this eve?
Why not?
Then I will have him stop by. I'm sure whatever beastie he is pursuing at present can wait one evening. Then, I'll hold you up no longer from your meeting with Professor Galbraith. It's a pleasure meeting you, Goldleg, and a delight to see you once again, Basil and Dr. Ersprung. Good day. And he turns
Good day, Professor.
Has his way off. Unless there's anything else you guys wish to do here, you can head into the Conjuration Department. And after a little bit of, I think once again, Sally, your Professor Galbraith's assistant is quite keen to see you once again. She asked for an update on I guess it's only been a day or so it's not like she's going to be, waiting to things. But she's very pleased to see all of you again, seemingly Sally more than the rest of you. And after a little bit of waiting, clearly his secretary is a bit of a starfucker, and Sally does have some degree of fame here, which may actually, let's see, that'll do like 2d6 of pride damage on you there, Golag. Sally seems to be the more famous of the celebrities here.
Yeah, it's possible. Like he like starts to say something, but then they all address Sally or something, and he's like, I'm right here.
It's the secretary in particular. The secretary was a fan of Sally when she did her stage play, and was when she heard that she was perhaps doing something similar again. That's just made, and Sally invited her to it. That was just, all doors will be open in the conjuration department for the foreseeable future.
Whatever works.
It appears in Paridar that merely falling over a lot doesn't get popularity.
Okay. So, Professor, I think Galberry, when you first see him, he is talking to some student, I think a gnome, a young gnome of who's studying and things, and he says, he sees you all and says, "Oh, just give me one moment." And he says, "Then perhaps try this." And he hands over some little container of something over to this young kid, who then takes it, and the kid, as he's walking past you, Sally, kind of does a, like, do I recognize her? Kind of thing. And he says, "Please, I trust you're here to see me then."
Dear Professor, indeed. Yes, we had some interesting discoveries. Just wanted to share with you.
Oh, good.
See if you had any insights and if we could provide anything of use to you.
I believe I have time still. And he looks at his assistant, and she makes a big flourish of like crossing something off of his calendar. And kind of like, "Yes, you've got time." It's good. Come in. So you guys get in once again, and again, it's a very cramped, and it's full of like strange things that are in different containers that have different markings on them, some of which seem to stir as you get in. And it is a cramped. I'm not used to having so many in here at once. A lecture hall would perhaps be more appropriate, eh? But sit. Now, what business did you find this leshy you were looking for?
Indeed, we did.
Good.
And?
No, go ahead, Doctor.
Well, we found a kelpie, I suppose, not a leshy.
Oh, a kelpie, forgive me.
Yes, you are a leshy, aren't you?
So the student was asking me about leshies. It's on my mind. Then, tell me, a kelpie. And how did it go? Was there one in the pond?
Indeed, there was. There was a, it was quite a fight, I will tell you. It would not come quietly. So
you captured it?
Well, I wouldn't say captured, but it wouldn't have such a thing. So it tried to capture Basil, as a matter of fact, in a way of speaking, under the water, where none of us do well except for Ms. Demir. So
yes.
we had to deal with it rather harshly, I'm afraid. It forced the matter.
I've heard they're fearsome creatures.
Yeah,
dangerous predators.
We can confirm this.
Did it try and ensorcel any of you? Appear in
Basil?
a familiar form or beckon to you into the water?
Oh, indeed. Your books tell the truth.
Yeah.
Then, indeed.
Irritatingly so.
A kelpie. But you dispatched it, I trust.
We did.
We did.
I wish it was easier for us than it was, but we got it done. We did not.
If you succeeded in dealing with such a thing in its own environment, you should feel very proud of your prowess. They are fearsome adversaries. There are many heroes who have been dragged down to their depths, drowning when all they saw before them was glory.
You are correct. The water posed a real challenge to us.
Did you determine any link between it and that weakness that you detected?
Ms.
The
Demir,
shallows that you saw at the broken spire.
Ms. Demir did a bit, didn't you? At the bottom.
Mr. Mayor, I did not know that you were gifted in magic of any kind. You truly are an endless well of surprises.
She found another pillar, I believe, down there.
Wait, what? You found... So it was not further investigation of the first pillar, it was a discovery of another spire?
And at this point, I think Golag's stretching and like, wishing, it's time for that. It might be time for that Zeppelin, with the, with the firms, Well, yes, Ms. Dumir spotted it, didn't you, Ms. Dumir?
I did. As you said, it tried to ensorcel me and then tried to drag me with it, and then it pulled me down to the bottom of the pond where there was nothing less than another spire. A damaged one, but...
Another damaged... 2 damaged spires only in the same location? Those are the only 2 spires in all of Paridar to be damaged then. How did we not know there was another beneath there?
Well, it was deep underwater.
Indeed.
Oh.
And we suspect the Kelpie came from this spire. That's speculation on our part, but it seems a reasonable thing to investigate.
Then... So there was 2 there, and it was dragging you towards the spire. Why would it have a lair built near the spire? Unless... Perhaps, Golag, like the depths of that pond, that what you saw as a shallowness was but the shore of a gap between worlds, located further down. That would explain how such a creature would find itself in the middle of a park, surrounded by a city.
Indeed, and it seemed to want to perhaps keep or transport Ms. Dumir between them.
Oh. That may be. Kelpies are predators who keep a lair. And if its lair is not at the bottom of the pond, then perhaps it is through the veil. But under the water. No wonder none have seen it. There are none who possess such abilities, and who would think to go underneath the poverty pond? There is only a certain class that go there. None, as from what I understand, spend time on the surface either. But why such a thing so soon? There's not a history of such things at the pond, was there? I was not aware of it.
I believe there's a history of disappearances, which would suggest the existence of the Kelpie for some time.
Yeah, for years. People
Really?
disappeared there.
This city. If you have not a top hat and spectacle, your absence or your fate is largely ignored. Well, it has our attention now. Now, Golag, and he leans even further across the table, you were the one who noticed this shallowness. If we could find a way to get you beneath the surface, do you think you could look and see? I can tell that you are uncomfortable, but here is my reasoning. You noticed a pattern that escaped even the wisest of sages in Paridar. If you have seen that pattern once, and perhaps you are the one who would recognize its presence again, albeit in a stronger form. Do you see my thinking?
Indeed. Anything to forward our frontiers of knowledge, of course. I am hearkening to something that Ms. Dumir brought to our attention, which is a device that assists with non-water breathers beneath the waters.
Now, we would not need to resort to sorcery to allow you to breathe underwater. If such a device exists, Ms. Dumir, are you aware of such a device?
I may, in fact, be aware of such a device. There is some strange lined creature who imagines that he can go underwater. Has a contraption, no less. So this indeed could. I was wondering about this as a way of getting the you more water challenged.
Oh, if
people to get down there.
If there is any price associated with it, I'm certain I can have the department underwrite the cost of such an exploration.
That would be welcome, and perhaps the water-breathing sorcery on standby as we try this contraption for the first time on myself.
Yeah, I would. Pushing the bounds of science always comes with risk, and perhaps some sorcery could assist in mitigating that risk, if you are unwilling to take it in the interest of discovery, Golag.
Of course, and I know where you're going. I don't know if naming the pillar after Ms. Dumira the firm, it's probably too much. So we'll pass on that. Thank you.
You get a full belly laugh from him at that. He is really pleased with the idea. Truly, you are an explorer, Golag. You pride yourself as being an investigator, but I think there is more professor and explorer in there as well. Then, perhaps then the plan. So the Kelpie, that is not a threat to any longer. Should we perhaps inform the constabulary? Should there be a worry or concern about the use of the pond?
It's a worthy point. Interestingly, the risk has immediately diminished, while in the long and the short term, while in the medium and long term, unknown, but probably has been higher this whole time. Perhaps you would take a look at it first, or I mean, I'm open. I mean, if we could certainly inform the constabulary. This whole thing is probably beyond a secret, so we should probably start informing the authorities. I mean, only if there
is a. I am certain that the college will carry more weight of persuasion with the constabulary, and if there is an extra-dimensional threat that may lie still in the pond, it will not be unheard of for us to advise the constabulary in such a manner. And I am happy to do so. And if you would prefer in this element to have your name remain out of this inquiry, then I can be certain to do so.
I don't know. I look at my colleagues and I say...
There are two wolves that live in beside every half-orc. One wishes to be a shameless self-promoter. The other seeks to have discretion while he is conducting an investigation.
Indeed. Golag's rubbing his chin. Is there a reason to keep us out of this? Does anyone think? Or what do you think?
So, I don't know. Maybe if the people who... It depends on whether people were aware of what was going on and wanted to keep it a secret.
After Mrs. Caldingwood's story on the matter, it certainly will be aware. People will be aware of it.
I mean, if there was a more specific reason to keep us out of it, I would be interested. But I don't know. In this case,
Mrs. Collingwood is certainly going to be writing about you as part of your, part of the arrangement that you guys have with her.
I think the word is already out. I don't think there's a reason to keep us out of it. There's no need to obfuscate. Sometimes there is, if there's a very specific reason, but I don't know that it exists in this case. And I think, being transparent has its own value sometimes.
So the only thing I can think of is, do we have any proof that there even was a Kelpie?
You were. Like the remains, that heap of... seaweed and whatnot too. Like there is, you would need to do like magical inquiries or have some knowledge of Kelpie physiology to be able to properly identify it, but the animating force behind it, the fey spirit that would have inhabited the flesh in this realm, that is gone. So some of its form is left, but there's enough left there that you could,
Yeah, so just so then we should maybe say that the university was able to identify this thing as a Kelpie or something, and ask the professor here to do this, because I think it would harm our reputation if someone could just claim that this was just a made-up story.
Sure. Yeah. And having the college, the university, be the liaison on the whole thing I think is perfectly fine. But as far as just keeping us in the story, I think it's the truth. And unless without a specific reason to do otherwise, I think we just tell what happened as it was.
Okay.
The safety of the public should be paramount.
So Professor Galberry will let everyone. He will keep your name in it, but he will get to assist with keeping the public safe. Will ensure that there is a proper sort of like sealing off of it until you guys conclude your investigations into what the hell's going on with this spire under there. Was there anything else you wish to talk to Professor Galberry about?
Yes. So, Professor, we have another investigation that presumably has nothing to do with what we've been speaking about. It has to do with the rash of fires that you may have read about around the city in the what's the name of the newspaper, Kevin?
The Paridar Times.
In the Paridar Times, Professor.
I have, in fact. Is that an investigation of... Wait, did I not... Dr. Ersprung, were you not a... Did your clinic not fall victim to this arsonist?
Unfortunately, it seems it could well be the same arsonist.
He shakes his head slowly, and his brow furrows, that green skin kind of furrows up, and he says, I am so deeply sorry to hear of that. I understand your work from the article. Your work assisted a great number of those in great need of such services. I am deeply sorry to hear the loss of such worthy endeavor.
It will do again soon. Do not worry.
So, Professor, I mean, and not to hurry you in any way, but have you ever heard of some kind of creature that maybe looks like a goat and produces hoof prints like this? And I have the evidence here, and is on fire and maybe can actually cause fires and burns maybe. So the hoof prints were even burned into the ground.
Allow me a moment to grab my D20. Yes.
A divining tool, no doubt, Professor.
Yes.
In some ways, indeed. It can lead to great knowledge, or quite hilarious failure. Then, what you speak of is a... Oh, and he very gently takes this, and he looks at the plaster casting, which curiously dried a lot faster than what you expected, Dr. Ersprung, almost as if it was like clay fired in a furnace of some kind. He takes it and he wafts it over. He has no nose, but you can see him kind of like a dog would, kind of... Can you smell? And he gestures it towards you, Basil, assuming you're the one who handed it to him.
I can try.
Yeah, and you actually don't need to make a roll for this. Wow, there's, even with the small bit of, the small bit of contact it's had with it, there is a distinctive aroma of brimstone on this. Do you smell it then? I see.
Yes.
That is the scent of hell. If this is a creature a terrible devil. Cause chaos and murder. These things are called for. Warriors, it's said, in the ranks of hell. And he goes and reaches, looks across his books. He does have to make use of his rolling ladder to get up and collect something that he seems to not use quite often. This is a heavy book bound in brass with a maroon cover sealing it. And it says on the side, Warriors of Heaven and Soldiers of Hell. And kind of places it down, pushes it open and flips back and forth through some, there's not eliminations, but like prints in here. And he turns around, and what you see, this is like it's obviously, there's a lot of flourish put into this black and white illustration, but there are flames wreathing this thing that give it a very important or a very sinister quality or extra quality of drama to it than what is there. And he turns towards you, and what is wreathed in the center of this is a phenomenally powerful humanoid creature. Upper body is drawn like or illustrated to be a human body, muscles rippling with strange markings all over it. But the head is that of a big shaggy goat. Huge horns swirling out and around, capturing the flames that go around it. Its hands are furred claws that end in jagged markings. One of them reaches up and seems to have flames wreathing it. The other holds aloft an enormous sword that frames over its horns, and the sword itself, you cannot see the blade for the flames that engulf the blade. And its lower part of the body is that of a squat goat. And you can see the name on the bottom of this illustration is Brimorak.
Oh.
Is that the name of a category of demons or the name of a specific demon devil, Professor?
In such things, they sometimes are one and the same. When to have a name of an infernal creature is a sign of power among them. To have a name of your own not only gives you power, but also potentially gives others power over you. Such things are, from what sages say, numberless. There are legion of such creatures, but they all answer to the singular name Brimorak.
Okay. So
It's said their flames burn hot enough to leave forged steel and worked stone to run like rivulets. And behind, and he gestures to the bottom, where they walk, flaming hoof prints remain.
And are those creatures subject to conjuration each time, or can they dwell on this plane?
Such things can be brought forth, but it requires, for such a thing to come, it is a great cost that must be borne by the conjurer. Such creatures are liars and always deal in bargains. There is a trade, a metaphysical exchange. And depending on the strength and the value of such a bargain, it dictates how strong the footing is in this world. If you think a Brimorak is behind these fires, and they have been ongoing for as long as you say, it speaks either of one such creature trapped here or enslaved here, or it speaks of an infernal sorcerer, a diabolist of sufficient power to regularly command the legions of hell.
And you would not expect the creature's presence without a conjurer. Is that true? At some level, there's a conjurer involved.
I must confess this is not my area of expertise, but I have a colleague who I could direct you, or he is away at present, but I can have him directed towards you.
I like that idea. Let me just mention, Professor, something I was going to at the conclusion of this conversation anyway, and that is, unlike what we were discussing, the transparency of our firm's involvement in the second pillar, this matter we have discovered is of extraordinary sensitivity at all levels that you should be aware of. In your, I know, university, there's discussions, of course, with colleagues and to trade ideas. And so, as you may be tempted to do so, I just want you to know that there could be pushback at levels you would not have thought about this matter. So, you telling your colleague is okay with us if you think, given that now you know that this colleague would be discreet, at least at this time, for all of our sakes.
Do you feel that there is danger involved with this?
Yes.
And danger at the level that even your university could be burning down. So be very careful.
With the... And he gestures to the walls. For centuries, we have stood here. Before this, dating back to the time of the founding of Paridar, our college, in particular, the Department of Conjuration, deals with matters that it is best the public not know of them.
Yes, I can understand, but maybe, just maybe, there are people involved who are as powerful as whatever the university can bring up.
I do not intend to dismiss your concern. The Brimorak, I can assure you, will be no trouble for us here. Such a thing, though powerful among the uneducated, among us, would be a simple thing to address. But I am mindful of what you have said, and trust me when I say, Eleshi does not become the head of the Department of Conjuration without understanding the full intricacies and intrigues of bureaucracy. I will take great care in speaking to my colleague and ensure that they contact you only with the utmost discretion.
Yeah. You wouldn't know of someone who has maybe, I don't know, some kind of rogue collector of these kind of conjuration books or something like that. I would not imagine that the person who has conjured this demon or this devil is someone from the university. It seems to be too random. It's more like a very, very ambitious person who has maybe self-taught.
It could be a person or persons.
Yes.
Such invocations often require the assistance of others. And the type of... the Brimoraks, in order to try and advance themselves up the infernal hierarchy, they must do the biddings of their betters. And it is them, the barons, the baronesses, the princes, the potentates of hell. They are the ones who offer the bargains to send their soldiers to do the biddings of mortals. I think this not the act of an individual, unless there was some other factor at play. Perhaps a cursed device, perhaps some kind of magical mishap. But if not that, there may be some organization behind the conjuration of this creature, who struck a bargain with them. You are right. We do not allow such things in the university, and indeed keep a careful eye out for such things. The Order of Saint Sylvester assists in those matters.
And with that as a segue, Professor, and doubling down on the sensitivity of the subject, we do have a lead on such an organization that may be involved. It is one that identifies itself tellingly, perhaps, with the symbol of a goat and combined with a pentagram.
Oh. And he gestures to the book in front of him. The Brimorak is a fearsome and dangerous adversary. But they are but footmen in the armies of hell. If there is an organization that has allied themselves with the infernal powers, and it has aims on the city, then this threat, gestures to the book, may be but the least of what we may yet face. If there is such a devil out and among the streets, it must be sent back to the pit.
Yeah,
How
I
does
think
one do that, might I ask?
There are conjurations that can do such a thing, but like many other things, when it comes in and manifests in the world of flesh, it must clothe itself in such things. Its immortal spirit trapped within. If you can dispatch the flesh, it will send its soul, or what passes for it, screaming back to the pit, where its fellows, it's said, will gleefully punish its failure. You seemed
So
capable of dealing with that Kelpie quite admirably. If you can locate this devil, you can kill the Brimorak's body, and its spirit will go back to the pit.
So, you may have noticed in reading the articles in the Paridar Times, Professor, that there is a particular, I believe, ex-member of the faith of the church by the name of Father Loeb, that may or may not ring a bell from your article readings.
The name is not familiar to me.
Well, he has been present at some or all, has been witnessed to be present at some or all of these situations, involved in some way. And now that you're talking about that a diabolique in the flesh of a man, of course, now one wonders whether this Loeb might be participating in such a way.
The name is unfamiliar to me, but in principle, there is sadly he would not be the first to have his face turned away from the heavenly host and to gaze down to the infernal masters. You think he to be this diabolist?
He's a first theory, a good candidate, it would seem, because of circumstantial evidence.
I would take care then. Do you think him capable of wielding such power?
I mean, he could be, not quite knowing how this works, he could be either the conjurer or a tool.
Oh, yes. Those who would truck with the liars of hell often visit the same untruths on those they would use as pawns. Then,
Can you just before? Can you think of any connection to what Dr. Ersprung is doing? Why would such creature be interested in his works?
why indeed I cannot say, but I can't. I had not thought to try and work a pattern from the losses that were there, the fires that have occurred. But if there is a method behind such destruction, if there is an art being worked there, then it would be worth identifying. And Dr. Ersprung may simply be one of those. He may be simply one part of an overall symphony being organized.
Just, I guess I have already pinned the locations of the fires on the map. So if there is some kind of, I don't know, if this starts to be a pentagram or something, I think I would have noted already.
Yeah, you have not been able to piece it together, but I think what you may have talked over with Golag. Golag's source of power is not the pit; it is it's the void, as that's where the eternal darkness is where his powers come from, and where the creatures that made up the Elder Order of the Endless Odyssey seem to come from as well. This is something altogether different. This is a counterpoint to the heavenly host.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we will try to investigate. Yes.
Would it make so? What is it? Is it integral to these creatures that they are inimical to the church? That they are opposed? Are they opposed to the church?
Most assuredly. Although,
yes.
Whether they are opposed to the church or the church opposes their chaotic and destructive ends, I could not say.
Okay.
When you have a feud that dates back to the dawn of the world, it's said. Who can say who threw the first punch, hey?
But the motives are not hard to discern here, at least the obvious motive.
The Church of the Heavenly Host seeks the glorification and the advancement and uplifting of the immortal souls of mortal beings. The legions of hell seek eternal subjugation and domination of such things. They would see a world wrought only in their image. The heavenly host, it is said, seeks to see mankind, and I guess you wouldn't say mankind, it would be mortal kind, to see them fulfill their best destiny.
You don't know of any, so you've never heard of such a group with that uses a goat and pentagram, have you, Professor?
No.
Any knowledge?
He gestures back hundreds, dating back thousands of years. Indeed, the challenge is not knowing what they are praying to, or the blasphemous equivalence thereof. It's what are they doing with it. And the name of that infernal potentate who's granted them this warrior, that too would be of value in understanding the grander design.
I see. Any other questions anyone else can think of?
Only wild speculations that won't lead anywhere.
Then, you have given me much to consider. I will make arrangements with regard to the Kelpie and the investigations. Miss Dumer, if you could speak to this inventor or explorer of yours, we can make those arrangements. But the pressing matter does seem to be this. If there is a warrior of hell stalking these streets, it must be sent back home.
We will need to do that. Indeed.
Then I did not think to ask, but, and forgive me if I pry, but who is your employer for this investigation? Why have you taken an interest in this fire? Is it simply the loss of your clinic, Dr. Ersprung?
That's what started the investigation, certainly.
In truth, Sean can't even remember, but I think at the moment, but I think that Golag's probably going to press it in that.
I think it might have been that you guys have talked to Father Tilcott before. Like, it's not been a regular contact, at least in the way that Mrs. Carrington is, or some of the others. But it is someone who you've met a couple of times over the past 6-7 months.
Yeah,
and he helped us. So I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
Like, we are actually in it maybe for personal reasons. So not only Dr. Ersprung, but also Father Talcott was an associate of our agency.
Then I am sorry for your loss on both counts. Then if there is, in the course of your investigation, anything further I can assist with, I will be happy to do so if I can. And to that end, I will contact my colleague and have them contact you.
Excellent. We are grateful, Professor, and we'll keep you apprised and would ask the same of you, if you would.
I shall. And he hops up from behind his desk, boom, closes that book. Then, thank you for addressing the issue with the Kelpie. That is one less threat that the unfortunates of Paridar will need deal with. And I wish you luck in your investigations. And I again sympathize with your loss, Doctor. So, if there is anything else you guys wish to do on campus, let me know. You all get a hero point as well.
No, I think we're good. I think. And,
then, what would you guys like to do? Next, we have about 15 minutes left for end of session.
Yeah, not. So we'll hold off on on the mission. I mean, the only thing we could possibly do is, if we wanted to be aggressive right now, is to start, but probably not. But start the investigation. Start on that lead of using the church to see if we can learn any more information on our way to the mission. But that seems a little short for that even. So maybe we just head back to the office and kind of reset and get ready for our big journey into the slum, I guess, of Paridar, where we drop by the church on the way, drop by who we think we can speak to about this matter that's with the church that could impart some information about Father Loeb or Father Tilcott, etc., and then head into the mission for our ultimate destination. What do you guys think of any of that?
Yeah, I think I would just try to activate my underground network of contacts.
Oh yeah.
So that they would.
Oh, maybe we do that. We could do that. Yeah.
Maybe I don't know how that works. Maybe I just leave a message in a place or something, and then someone will contact me. Maybe.
That could be a good use. Yeah. I momentarily. That's right, and we have that. So it was really like that, and then drop by the church on our way, and then the mission. So maybe that's a good right there. How about we do that?
Okay. So sorry, what is it you're going to be doing?
Yeah. So maybe just try to make this underground network. I have this underground network contacts. Maybe it is the network that does not exist. Maybe it is just a little bit less heavy. I don't know. So just see what I can find out.
Sure.
About this.
So I think where you're dropping it off is just at a. Let's see here. I think it'll be at a laundromat. There is a laundromat that you're just supposed to drop off something with, and then word will come to you. And I think you are sitting, in the study a little later in the day, waiting to get word. You're staring at your what do you call it again? Oh, Underground Network. Let's see here. Get information from them directly. It takes about an hour. Doesn't draw as much. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Okay, so give us a society check. Is it society? Yeah.
Yeah.
Check.
And I was assisting on this for.
Oh yeah. So give us a underground lore check for you there, Golag, please. A DC 20 on this one. You want to spend a hero point?
Yes.
Come on, big money.
Definitely. Do that. Oof. Of no use.
As we've established, very easily distracted. There was a lot of publicity that you were trying to drum up here.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Would any Paradar law be of any use?
Quite possibly.
Or
Yeah.
is it
Yeah, because she's got great. You can use diplomacy or society for gather information, can't you? Or is it Paradar lore you're thinking of?
I'll use Paradar law of knowing who the people might be.
Yeah.
It's the same score anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. You want to spend a hero point?
Why not? I better save them for the next 3 minutes.
Yeah. I will also use a hero point.
Okay.
Come
on, Basil.
Yes.
Water.
Sometimes. Yeah, water. There should be. Oh,
there you go.
30.
All right.
I don't know. I never.
So you're sitting and on the little divan that normally the guests and whatever else sit on, and you're staring at the. I don't think, is Basil a smoker or not? I can't remember.
Maybe a pipe or something.
Okay, so you got a pipe in front of you, and it's probably like an oversized thing for Yasaki. So you got this puffing away. You're staring at that thing, and I imagine that you've got like different colored strings or maybe different colored pins for the different things going on, and you're staring at those red pins you've got or red markers for the different fires on it, trying to work out, like fuzzing your eyes maybe, or like unfocusing your eyes to try and see if there's a design that becomes apparent. And you hear a tack at the window. A stone has hit it, and you know that to be the symbol. Under the mat outside there will be instructions.
Yeah, so I'm going to look for the instructions.
The door opens and we see you look outside. And you go underneath, and you've got your instructions. Would you give us a perception check as well?
Yes. I should not close my character sheet.
Nat 1. You want to spend that hero point?
Yes, that's my last hero point. Maybe that's...
Okay. Nice.
Yeah,
there is a man, and you can tell you rolled well enough. There is an orcish man standing in the alleyway across who is conspicuously smoking a cigarette. You've seen this guy before, you're certain. I'll leave it to Golag to determine whether you have met Sigdag before. He was that. That's the name of your orcish friend, right? The one who works for your father, your uncle, effectively?
Oh. It's him, huh?
Yeah, it's him waiting there. He seems to be waiting to get your attention.
You mean the guy that I met with, that I routinely, that's a good friend of mine that I meet at the bar.
Yeah, that's Sigdag, isn't it?
I'll have to, it sounds a little different, but you know what, let me
down a Skeldug.
Skeldug.
Okay, yeah, there we go, okay. Yeah.
His twin brother.
Yeah, exactly. It's Skeldug. So Skeldug is waiting out there, and so you've seen, I think, this before, Basil. So you may know that this is how Golag and his father, or Golag and the representative from his father's agency, talk back and forth. Though Golag thinks you don't know about it.
Yeah. So I would just say that maybe someone is visiting you, Golag. I don't know.
So go like, maybe you're up, I'm not sure what you'd be doing right now. Perhaps you're mastering the new spells, or perhaps we can start next session with a flashback to you using object reading on the on the thing, if you've got that prepared.
I do.
But Basil, there is an address in there, and it is where you're going to be meeting will be at down near the docks, about 3 blocks away from the wharf itself, in a cannery.
Yeah. So let's go there, and maybe I go alone because I'm just too risk taking.
Give us a. Well, hold on. I'll tell you. What is your stealth bonus?
A 10.
10. Okay. So you try to surreptitiously, make your way to this cannery. Tell us how you are. How you arrive at the scene, and if there's any precautions that you take as you do so.
Yeah, I think I would just look out for someone maybe following me, because I would expect that we are watched over, and not only by this orc, but maybe by someone else trying to. So I would just make sure that I was not followed, and if this is a trap, then I would grant them the advantage of having trapped me.
Okay. As far as you can tell, there's nothing following you.
Yeah,
you've done a good job. If there was anything watching the house, Skeldug, you've completely evaded him, you're confident.
Yeah. Yeah, then I think I would be careful, because there always could be some kind of normal thief or so, but I would not expect some really clever ploy to just snatch me or something.
Okay. So as you make your way over, or as you make your way to the scene, you're able to approach where the this place is supposed to be, or you're supposed to be meeting with this person, and what you see standing there is at first you think it's a human, and then you can see as he draws a drag on his cigarette, there's reddish eyes in place of what humans normally have, and he has 2 black horns that poke out from his forehead.
Oh, yeah. That seems to be
that's good.
Yeah, that's my normal company, really.
And this is just so you to give context. There are like Paridar has everything that Pathfinder does. There are those who have way back in their histories diabolic blood, and that manifests as tieflings. Similarly, there are those who have angelic bloodlines that sometimes express themselves as Asmar.
Yeah. So that's. Yeah, and not to be judgmental, so I think I would just be open to what this person has to tell tell me.
So, how do you approach this guy? Do you do you make any effort to hide yourself, or?
I think I would just appear next to him. So
sure.
I would just.
And he's dressed like a factory worker. Like he's got a soft cap, kind of pulled back a little bit. Yeah. Vest on, shirt that's open, the sleeves all rolled up because of the heat in here. Pretty worn, battered shoes, and not filthy, but not clean trousers on, likely made of wool. So you walk up. He looks at you and. What would be the exchange, the passwords or whatnot? Let's say that your code phrase is sounds like the tide's coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you say?
So have you looked at the water? It sounds like the tide is coming in.
His eyebrow goes up a scooch. You can see more clearly now. His eyes almost have a very pale luminescence to them. And he says, best close the channels then, right? And that's the code phrase. But you won't.
I need some kind of information. There is a guy running around doing trouble all over my area of town called Brother Lope. And I want to know where he came from, and I maybe know what his business is, but who was he before he became Brother Lope?
We can find that for you. Anything else?
That would be enough, I think.
And you accept the cost?
As always.
Then, and he smiles, and you can see his teeth are actually like all black, like almost like coal. And he smiles. Well then, we'll be in touch, Mr. Rathbone. And he starts
looking forward to it.
As he's going away too, he starts whistling a tune, and there is something discordant about it. It's very disquieting. It's just some dude walking along whistling, but there's something distinctly disquieting about the way he is whistling. So you will find more information about that delivered to you, I think, next time. I think what we'll do, because we got a lot of to-do list here for next time. Man, time has flown today. So we've got Brother Loeb. We've got Sir Archibald. We've got the what do you call it? The associate professor of Infernal Studies. You've got the underwater human. What else do we have on the to-do list for next time? Oh, your charity event?
Yeah.
Yeah, and putting off the whole insurance. I mean, it's not even on the list right now. That's a whole nother...
Sadly, flicks it once or twice.
A little tear trickles down, go like...
Yeah, and then the tear comes.
Exactly. Now he finds his tears.
But as a professional, he notes what it took. So next time he knows what to channel for that tear, for that needed tear. Yeah.
Then with that, guys, and with some pending information delivering to you through the Whisker Network, we'll bring our session to a close. So for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for part 1 of our latest Paridar mystery, Fire and Brimstone. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section of the video, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. In addition, there's a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where all of us are active, and we have channels there dedicated to this game, this campaign, and every other game we run on the channel, as well as a bunch of other terrific channels, including information about conventions, both online and in person, information about virtual tabletops. There's a Finder group channel that we've seen a AD&D second edition group come together as well too. I got a chance to guest star in their session on Friday, which was a lot of fun. In general, a really terrific group of folks over there. So you are more than welcome to join us over there. There's also a link down below to the Dungeon Musings, to the same outro thing. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. They have a terrific feature called the Want List, so if they do not have in their impressive collection of stock the hard-to-find or out-of-print game that you are looking for, you can put it on a want list and it'll let you know when it came in. I just got notification that one of my want list items just showed up, so I'll have to check out and see what it is. Come on, classic Star Trek. That's what we're hoping for. In addition, they obviously have new role-playing games, board games, and card games as well. But for myself, I find them to be particularly helpful for filling holes in those difficult, hard-to-find, out-of-print games. And if you do make a $10 purchase or more through their website, be sure to use the code MUSINGS at checkout and save yourself 10% on your purchase. I know I certainly do. Now, there's also a link down below to the charity initiative that benefits from our charity activities. It's the Heroes Save Villages campaign that benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, a really terrific organization active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphan and abandoned children, including ongoing relief efforts in Ukraine and the surrounding countries at the time of recording. We have just run yesterday a really, really fun, let's see, it was a charity one-shot that the donors who have donated since June 2022 helped to shape, and that was playing playing Eden Studios' fantastic zombie survival RPG, All Flesh Must Be Eaten. And it was donors who helped us shape that story for what time period we're going to be playing in, what genre we were playing in, what characters we were playing. And we'll be doing the exact same thing for donors for our next charity session, which will be in November, which will be playing Modifius Entertainment's awesome Conan Adventures in an Age Undreamed Of. Donors since June 15, 2022 will help us decide what kind of Conan story we're playing, where we're playing it, and all that kind of stuff. So lots of great opportunities to shape the charity session, and we'll probably be doing one more in December as well before the next charity raffle. And for every $25 Canadian that you donate through that link, you get one chance to win the grand prize or one of the other great prizes in our next charity raffle. You can see what we awarded last time by going through the Dungeon Musings Discord server to the Charity Initiatives channel. There's a full list of all the prizes that were awarded then, including some Pathfinder 2nd Edition prizes. Ingolf. And we'll have more prizes for the next one too, but we'll have more information about that as we get closer to December. And all donations, I should say as well, that go through that link go directly to SOS Children's Villages International. None of it goes to the channel or any other middleman. It just goes to help out the kids who benefit from their services. The last thing I will say is a huge thank you to our stalwart investigators. So, Sean, or Illuminators, Sean, Ingolf, James, and Darren, thank you so much for joining us today. This was a shit ton of fun. I am very excited to see what you uncover in the course of our new mystery, Fire and Brimstone. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be. Come on, the infernal powers, when has that ever ended poorly? Come on.
It's us. We can do
I don't like fire, though. Fire's not good.
Oh, boy. Then, for those listening at home, we'll be back in the streets of Paridar in 2 weeks' time to see what next our... I love it. Yeah, we've definitely hit that stride in this campaign where there's plenty of shit going on at any given time. So this is great. I'm so happy with it. Then we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. Until then, we hope that we gave you a couple of hours, take your mind off, or a few hours, take your mind off the troubles of our world and see the intrigues and occult conspiracies that our illuminators are uncovering in the streets of Paridar. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.